Gorgeous Bruges is a tourist's dream. This is Belgium's most perfectly preserved medieval town, and its jaw-dropping, beautiful architecture attracts more than 2 million visitors every year. If you're short of time on your Belgium travels, Bruges should be your #1 stop. With its wealth of interesting old buildings and its canals, it's the best place to visit in the country for anyone interested in Belgium's history. Tourists taking a walk through the narrow streets or a boat trip on the canals fall immediately under its spell, charmed by the atmosphere of what is for many the most delightful of all the cities of Flanders. Because the center of Bruges is comparatively small, even those with only a day to spend sightseeing can expect to take away a good idea of all the major attractions. Essential viewing should definitely include at least the main square with the Belfry, Square with the Basilica of the Holy Blood, and a trip on the canals. Plan your sightseeing in this magical city with our list of the top attractions and things to do in Bruges. See also where to stay in Bruges. 1. Climb to the top of the Belfry. Bruges Hall and Belfry. The south side of Bruges Markt is dominated by the Hall with the Belfry, Bruges' most distinctive landmark, soaring above it. The Hall was begun in 1248 and twice enlarged, first in the 14th century and then again in the 16th century, and once functioned as the city's main marketplace. The building encloses a picturesque courtyard, and the balcony above the entrance was once used by the city fathers to promulgate their statutes to the populace assembled beneath. The 83-meter-high belfry is one of the finest bell towers in Belgium, and is entered from the Hall's inner courtyard. Construction of the bell tower began in 1282, and the crowning octagonal upper section was finally completed in 1482. Today, a carillon of 47 bells still hang in the tower. For the best view over Bruges, you can climb the 366 steps up to the top of the tower. On the way up, the old treasure room, where civic documents are kept behind wrought iron grills, can be visited on the second floor. 2. Visit the Basilica of the Holy Blood. Gilded facade of the Basilica of the Holy Blood. The Basilica of the Holy Blood presides over the central plaza known as the Burg or Burg Square. The church is famous for the crystal vial kept inside that is reputed to contain a drop of Christ's blood brought back from the Holy Land by Dietrich of Alsace in 1149 on his return from the Second Crusade. Each year in May, this sacred relic is carried through the streets of Bruges in the procession of the Holy Blood. The facade of the Basilica, with its 3 flamboyant-style arches and gilded statues, was erected between 1529 and 1534. The Basilica itself consists of a Romanesque lower chapel and a late Gothic upper chapel, which houses relics of Saint Basil brought from Palestine by Robert II, Count of Flanders. An elegant spiral staircase leads to the upper chapel, where every Friday the vial containing the Holy Blood is brought out and shown to the faithful. 3. Sightsee at the Markt. Markt. At the very heart of the city is the Markt, Bruges' bustling main square, surrounded on all sides by fine buildings from a variety of different periods. The eastern side is dominated by the neo-Gothic Provincialhof building, which dates from 1887 and is the seat of the West Vlaanderen provincial government. On the western side, occupying the left-hand corner, is the attractive brick 15th-century Huys Bouwhout. On the opposite corner stands the Kronenburg where, in 1488, at the instigation of Ghent, the burghers of Bruges kept the future Habsburg Emperor Maximilian imprisoned for 11 weeks. He was freed only after agreeing to respect the authority of the ruling Regency Council, and to order the withdrawal of all foreign troops. The best way to admire all this architectural finery is to join the throngs of visitors and locals at one of the Markt's many cafes and sit for a while soaking up the historic splendor around you. 4. Cruise the canals. Canal cruise in Bruges. For the most relaxing sightseeing experience in Bruges, the top thing to do is hop aboard one of the tourist cruise boats. The boat cruise route runs right through the heart of Bruges between the Begijnhof and Jan van Eyck Square, with great views of the canal side architecture all the way. Boat trips run every half hour between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. daily between March and mid-November. If you're traveling during the depths of winter, check with your Bruges accommodation, as the schedule changes according to the weather, but expect far fewer trips. The boats are uncovered but do provide umbrellas for passengers when it is raining. There are 5 different companies offering boat trips from 5 separate jetties all in the central city, but all offer exactly the same route, boat type, and ticket price, so you don't need to choose between them. Tickets can't be booked in advance, just turn up at the jetty and buy your ticket there. Note that in high summer, the boat trips are extremely popular. Plan to hop aboard the first cruise of the day, when fewer day trippers are about. 5. Tour the Town Hall. Town Hall. On the southeast side of the Burg is Bruges Town Hall, one of the oldest in Belgium, having been constructed between 1376 and 1420. The facade of the delicate Gothic building displays the strong vertical emphasis characteristic of the style, with soaring pilasters, 3 of which end in octagonal turrets, separated by tall Gothic arched windows. Statues of the Counts of Flanders from Baldwin Iron Arm onwards fill the 49 niches. Inside, don't miss the great Gothic hall on the first floor with its beautiful timber vaulting, which dates from 1402, and its murals recording events in the town's history by Anne J. de Vriend. Address: Burg 12, Central Bruges. 6. View the Liberty of Bruges. Palace of Liberty, Bruges. On the east side of Burg Square, the Bruges Tourist Office occupies part of what was, up until 1984, the Law Courts, built between 1722 and 1727 on the site of the former Liberty of Bruges, from where independent magistrates exercised jurisdiction over the region. Some fragments of the older building have survived, including the pretty 16th century facade overlooking the canal at the rear. 1 or 2 of the more historic rooms inside are now the BRUGGE Museum and can be admired by visitors. Of particular interest is the Scheppensaal, where you can see the famous chimneypiece designed by the painter Lancelot Blondel in 1529 and executed in black marble and oak by Guyot de Beaugrand. This magnificent piece of Renaissance craftsmanship has an alabaster frieze above depicting the story of Susanna and the elders, with carved oak figures of the Emperor Charles V and his parents, Ferdinand and Isabella of Castile, Mary of Burgundy, and Maximilian. Address: Burg, Central Bruges. 7. See the art inside the GROENINGE Museum. GROENINGE Museum. Head to the Savor Canal to visit the GROENINGE Museum, which holds Bruges' best collection of art. In addition to its excellent endowment of Old Flemish paintings, the museum also incorporates a gallery of modern art and a superb collection of views of Old Bruges. However, the first 5 rooms of the museum are the ones most likely to claim your attention, as they contain quite exceptional paintings by Old Flemish masters. In room 1 hang 2 major works by Jan van Eyck, Madonna and the Donor, Canon van der Pale, and the portrait of Margaret van Eyck, the artist's wife, painted when she was 33 years of age. In room 3 are panels illustrating the legend of Saint Ursula and a portrait of Louis Grotius, both famous works by unknown Bruges masters, and The Last Judgment by Hieronymus Bosch is among the paintings in room 5. Address: Savor 12, Central Bruges. 8. Photograph the famed St. Bridge. St. Boniface Bridge. One of Bruges' most popular photography spots, St. Boniface Bridge is a narrow brick pedestrian bridge crossing the canal right between the Church of Our Lady and the GROENINGE Museum. Although the bridge is modest in stature and also one of the youngest bridges in the city, built in the early 20th century, it's famous because its position along the canal provides bridge crossers with some of the city's most tranquil canal views, as well as great photos of the Church of Our Lady. In high summer, do expect a bit of a line for photos at this spot. The best way to avoid that is to get here early in the morning, when far fewer people are about. 9. Admire the Church of Our Lady. Church of Our Lady. The 112-meter-high spire of the Church of Our Lady is the tallest in Belgium. Work began on the nave and aisles around 1230, the outermost aisles and chapels being added in the 14th and 15th centuries. The church holds a wealth of art treasures, among which is a sublime sculpture by Michelangelo, Virgin and Child. The sculpture stands on the altar of the chapel at the end of the south aisle. The Calvary on the high altar is by Bernard van Orly, the triptych Adoration of the Shepherds is by Pieter Porbus, and the Transfiguration of Christ is by Gerard David. 10. Visit SINT-JANSSPITAAL. SINT-JANSSPITAAL. Immediately opposite the west door of the Church of Our Lady stands the oldest building in Bruges, the SINT-JANSSPITAAL St. John's Hospital, founded in the 12th century. The tympanum, over the bricked-up gate to the left of the Mariastraat entrance, is embellished with reliefs showing the Virgin, which bears the date 1270. Inside the ancient building, in what were once wards, an exhibition of documents and surgical instruments charts the hospital's history. The old dispensary adjacent to the wards has also been preserved. Also within the walls of the old hospital is the Memling Museum, a small collection of the works of Hans Memling ca. 1430–94. Outstanding among these is the reliquary of St. Ursula, recognized as one of the master's most important works. Scarcely less famous is the mystic marriage of St. Catherine, painted for the so-called St. John altar. South of SINT-JANSSPITAAL is the street of Wallstraat, rimmed by tiny, exceptionally pretty, gabled 16th and 17th century houses in which lace makers still practice their craft.